Arthur Miller was one of the greatest playwrights of the 20th century. Intellectual and compassionate, he was equally adept at taking grand universal themes or intimate personal ones and fashioning brilliant plays out of them. He could handle the personal and the political at the same time, in wonderfully structured works like The Crucible, Death of a Salesman, A View from the Bridge, and All My Sons. In the 1950s, however, he achieved global recognition outside of Broadway and the literati by virtue of an extraordinary marriage. In 1956, he divorced his first wife, Mary Slattery, and then this bookish, bespectacled 41-year-old wed the most famous sex goddess on the planet, Marilyn Monroe. The union between the egghead and the bombshell stunned the world, but the marriage lasted for 5 years. During this time, though, they lived through the trauma of an ectopic pregnancy and later a miscarriage. Arthur wrote a screenplay for her, The Misfits, but by the time shooting had finished, their relationship had broken down irrevocably. 2 years later, in 1964, he produced the intensely personal play After the Fall, featuring a character widely believed to be an unflattering portrait of Marilyn. In 1962, he married Inga Marath, and they remained together until her death 40 years later. But their happy marriage had one great secret. In 1966, they had their second child together, Arthur's fourth counting the two he had with his first wife. Daniel was born with Down syndrome and was swiftly institutionalized, with Arthur refusing to publicly acknowledge him and having little to do with him right up until the playwright's own death in 2005 at the age of 89. However, Arthur did seem to be wrestling with the decisions made at the time of Danny's birth, and he made several veiled references hinting at remorse in his 1987 autobiography, Time Bends. When he died, his estate was split equally between his 4 children, meaning that at the very end of his life, Arthur finally acknowledged Danny publicly as his own flesh and blood.